Hello, everybody. My name's Jim, and on this episode of Bookish Discoveries, we're going to talk about expectations. From what to expect before you pick up a book to when you're reading it, and what to expect on this channel. The first place where I start to gather my expectations is pretty obvious. It's the cover, it's the blurb, it's the author. If the cover catches my eye, if the blurb is captivating, if it's an author I trust, or if it's all three, then I'm more likely to pick it up. However, there are some nuances to this, even though it's a little bit obvious, because I do tend to look for newer authors, and I don't really expect much based off of the cover. I read the blurb. If the blurb sounds interesting, then I'll read it. Because that author, of course, because they're new, this might be their debut, or, their second or third book, and they haven't really had that exposure yet, then obviously I can't really go by that either. Now, just gonna say, while I do look over some editing mistakes, because I do understand that the world of publishing is very expensive, and some of these newer authors may not have all of the money to fork over to hire multiple editors, and, all of these things that these more established authors have to create a more captivating outward appearance and also a tighter story. However, that's not to say that my expectations aren't going to be high as it comes to following the story, making sure that it's cohesive and that it makes sense. I do tend to be a little bit kinder in my reviews if it is a debut or if it is an author that isn't as established yet, because I do not want to participate in bullying a new author out of their passion. I've seen that happen before, and it's just not a fun thing to do. So while I do have some criticisms, which I've already gone over, for example, with Whatever Remains of Us in the End by Brandon Baker, I will speak about my criticisms. I will not hold back on those, but I will also try to be as encouraging as I can if he were to ever come across that review, so that he's not so bogged down by the negative. The more he writes, the better he gets. He needs to keep going, as does every new author out there. I cannot say that enough. Another thing I hear a lot when it comes to expectations is the phrase, "it gets better, keep reading." It kind of reminds me of that whole, you're sitting in the restaurant and the waiter comes to you and is like, "Try it, you'll like it." I don't know that. And, as it pertains to spoilers, are we not allowed to say the page number or the chapter in which the story, quote, gets better? Because I've run into this situation myself, and I wonder if it comes across too spoilery. But on the other hand, if a story only gets better in the latter half, then either A, I might not have the patience to slog through the first half to get there, or B, your interpretation of what's better might not be mine, and I just end up wasting my time anyway. So personally, I would like to know the chapter in which you were saying that it gets better, or at least the page number, because again, if it's like the last 3 chapters of the book where everything comes together at the end, but the story up to that point really doesn't make sense and it's just chaotic and not cohesive at all, I don't know if I want to get there, and I have a rule where if I go over the halfway point, then I'm gonna review the book, and if it's taking too long to get to the point, then I am going to leave a poor rating on that book. Now I want to get into hate reading. So I have nothing against people who do this. I do watch a few channels who hate read romances. Nothing against people who enjoy romances either. It's the genre with the most sales. So, it makes sense that a lot of people go gaga over these romances. But I do watch a few channels who mostly pick up romances to hate read them and provide entertainment to the masses who want to hear them rant. I get that, but that's not something that I think I will be able to do. There are going to be certain situations where I pick up a book, I'm reading it, and I end up hating it as I read it, and I'm going to review it, I'm going to rant about it, and that's cool. That's not something that I expected. I expected it to be good. If people say that the ending is amazing and I get to the ending and it flops, I'm going to let you know, because I'm going to be ticked off that I wasted my time. However, if I expect to hate a book, and I pick it up anyway, and I read through it, and my expectation becomes a reality, and I hate the book. In my mind, it served its purpose. And there's this conflict where I'm like, I don't know if I need to rate this 5 stars or 1 star because I hated it, but that's what I thought was going to happen. 99.9% sure I'm never going to hate read a book for this channel. I would feel bad and conflicted. So that's a good segue into the last bit. What can you expect from this channel? I've already posted a few videos. I've been here for like half a year. Almost. It's June. So you can already kind of tell. If you go to my main channel page, I have 4 playlists set up there of my main series, the ones that I want to keep going. Depending on how I want to review a book, they will either get a generic review, whether it's spoiler free or full of spoilers. I don't know. It just depends on what I want to talk about. They might get a character review, which I love doing because I am a character reader. So if you haven't watched my character reviews yet, or you don't like them, I'm sorry. If I either enjoy or absolutely hate a cast in a book, then that is probably going to be the way that I review them, because I think it's important for me to review the way that I read books. Or, you know, the book may not be special enough to get its own dedicated video, and it might just end up in a wrap-up, and that's fine too. But also in my About section, I do have the genres that I enjoy reading the most. If you're not a fan of memoirs, historical or literary fiction, horror, or thrillers, this might not be a good channel for you. If you're a fantasy reader, a romance reader, I might throw some of them into the mix, but those aren't my favorite genres. I might not like romance, but if it takes up a large portion of a historical fiction, or if it's LGBTQ+, I'm not gonna say I won't pick it up. I just tend to complain about every romance that I've read because so few people seem to know how to write them in a way that I enjoy, self-included. I don't know how to write romance either. I'm trying in my book, but it's not that easy. Kudos to Emily Henry for being as successful as she is, for writing romances. You know what? Maybe I will pick up one of her books. Maybe I will, and if it seems like something that I won't like, then I'll just DNF before I get to the halfway point. But maybe one day I will pick up an Emily Henry book, I will read it, and if I enjoy it, I will let you know, because this will be a plot twist for the channel that even I wasn't expecting. The last little bit is just about my personality. I am a self-deprecator. That's my humor. I tend to find humor in my shortcomings, and I do realize when I'm editing my videos that I tend to laugh a lot, and it's not because I think I'm the funniest person on earth. I'm not laughing at myself. I'm just anxious as hell. I'm an introvert. I hate public speaking. This is not the most comfortable situation for me to be in, to speak to you guys and talk about my opinions and my feelings. So when I laugh, I mean, maybe something I say is funny, but I don't think I'm funny. See, I need to stop this video. You know what? I'm gonna end it here. That's what you can expect from this channel. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, I've been Jim. You've been great. Happy reading.